So, welcome back to the channel. I know it's been some time off. As you guys can see, that there's been a little bit of redecorating and revamping, which is not even the final product, but I need to get back out here and start off again. And there's no better way to restart up this channel again than with my guest who I have here. I'll let her introduce herself.
Hello, my name is Tori Franco. I am all over the internet on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I have a podcast called the Tori Franco Show, where I talk about mental health shit and anxiety and spirituality. So, and I'm obsessed with tarot. So that's my shtick.
Not bad shtick at all, but
Thanks.
I had to have you on here because I want to say similar minded as far as using our trauma to our advantage. It's following your channel for a little while and then also having the chance to talk to you in person a couple of times and seeing firsthand your energy. It's first off an honor to have you on here and talk to you one-on-one. I know we never really had a chance to really sit down and talk. So this is like real, our first time having a real one-on-one. But at the same time, though, seeing what you're about and then seeing your overall energy presence being so, what's the word I'm looking for here? Compassionate, but understanding, but also chaotic.
Yep. Literally.
But
That's literally me.
it's an honor to meet you in person, but it's also going to be a really good conversation as far as I know that we've both been through some serious shit. We've both been through some fucked up shit, and we both weren't always right in some situations, both only wrong in some situations, but at the same time, using both of those to our advantage, making mistakes into lessons and lessons into blessings.
Hell yeah. I like to think of it as, well, first of all, I want to say you're right. We've never had this like one-on-one conversation together, but the times that we've been around each other, I fucking love your energy. I always tell your sister, I'm like, I love your brother. If I was straight, like I'd try to marry him. So,
I
so
appreciate that.
I appreciate you. Um, but yeah, I call it sublimation. It's like taking a shitty thing and actually turning it into, it's like alchemy. I call it alchemy as well. Like you kind of just touch it and you turn it into something good. You transform it, transmute it. That's what I'm trying to do. So
And you're doing it. I mean, as
thank you.
far as I'm seeing from afar, I guess we'll get a little more detail on how you got to where you are now. But seeing from afar is your ability to really reach out and connect to people. The amount of times I've seen you repost your followers on their messages to you on how much you've impacted them, how much they're thanking you, how much your words. And that's honestly incredible because there's not too many uh, people, especially with your following as well, who are that much into their following as well, who actually listens and they'll take the time to reply and read the messages and talk to people and to show that you're not just, somebody who is just going to brush off and say thank you for the follow. Like, no, you're actually there to help out. And that's what's also incredible about you.
Yeah, I think that's I'm always out here feeling like shit about myself. Like I wake up every day and I'm like, you fucking piece of shit. Like most of the time that's like the talk that goes on in my head. It's like anxiety or whatever. But when I'm out here trying to figure out what sets me apart from everybody else and like people with bigger followings or even people, my friends who get better brand deals, whatever it is, I know that my superpower is that connection that I have in the community. Like it doesn't matter if I only speak to one person. Like I want to know people. You know what I mean? And I think that's my superpower. So it's one thing I'm
What
good at.
what do you think are some of the things that some people can actually really benefit from as far as turning inward at an earlier age versus waiting later on in life to finally sit down with their demons?
Oh my God. At 32, I just started doing it like maybe a year ago, right?
Oh,
Like
you're
really,
32?
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, I know. That's another one of my superpowers is I look like I'm 12.
Yeah, baby
So
face. I shaved this off. I got a 12-year-old, but wow, I would have thought you were like at least like my age, like 25, 26.
I'll take it. I'll totally take it. But yeah, no, I'm 32. I got some years. But I never I was always looking for distractions up until like about a year ago where I really started to turn in within. And I think the best thing that has come of that, of me turning within, is actually like quieting the noise from the outside. A lot of times, people on the outside, most of the times, your friends, your family are going to tell you that they're going to perpetuate that song and dance that you're used to hearing in society, that you shouldn't go after the things that you want, especially if they're unconventional like this, like YouTubing and podcasting. It's like, no, go get a real job. It's turning within allows you to really get to know who you are and what you want, away from what everybody else thinks that is best for you. I think that's probably the biggest takeaway that I've gotten from it.
It's incredible. And the best part is that it's early enough that you still have so much time to enjoy it though. Like there's still so much more life to live from these experiences and from these lessons.
Yeah.
It's it didn't wait until your 40s, you didn't wait in your 50s and 60s. Like some people are in their deathbeds in their 70s and 80s and 90s and are having those what ifs and those wishings that I had done this and done that. But
There's a book that I started reading. I never finished it, but I think it's like the top 5 regrets of the dying. And yeah, I'll send it to you. I'll text it to you
yeah,
after
send that
this.
to me. That sounds very deep.
Yeah, it's very deep. It's about this woman who's a nurse, a hospice nurse, and she goes and talks to people that are literally on their deathbeds, and she literally talks to them about what they regret the most. And one of the regrets, aside from not expressing yourself the way that you should be expressing, like when you love somebody, you should say it. Like one of the regrets is most of those people didn't do or live the way that they wanted to live. They lived the way that their families, their friends told them they should. And now they're on their deathbeds regretting it and they don't have the time. So I always try to think of that when I do shit.
See, it's one of the things that really I'm thankful for also is that I finally like put the work into something that excuse me, oh, something that I'm very passionate about. Not only just the physical health, but the mental health as well. For a while, I was always felt I was when I was pursuing a career in law enforcement and pursuing a career in the military. I didn't always feel like it was something I wanted to do. It was always more of something that I felt like it was the thing I was like always pulled to do,
Mm.
and not in the sense that it was just always just from my family, but I didn't, there was an impact from the family from that. But at the same time, when I started to really get involved with that career field, I started to realize that it's not really something that I had to step away because I really didn't feel I was mentally fit for it because of a lot of the mental traumas and a lot of the I want to say inner demons that I never really faced when I was growing up really came back to haunt me a lot in my early 20s. And when I was finally getting ready to pursue the career and to become a police officer, oh, everything happened all at once
Floodgates
between
open.
yeah, it was when it rained, it just hurricaned. And first off, my uncle had passed away.
Oh
um
no.
yeah, this was back in 2018. He had passed away, who was basically like a father figure for myself growing up because me and my father weren't really always eye to eye growing up due to the alcohol. But thankfully now they're 6 years sober. Congrats to them.
Yeah,
um
that's amazing.
yeah, both my parents 6 years sober. It's finally amazing to have them back. But also, 2 weeks later after that, lost my relationship. I had was downing a bottle almost every night. I had really basically developed an alcohol problem, starting to fall into the same footsteps as my parents. And then a week after that, I got fired from my civilian job because my numbers weren't there because I was um, basically sulking my pity between the breakup and between losing my uncle. And then literally 2 weeks after that, I got out of the National Guard. I was officially, honorably discharged. They asked me if I wanted to resign. I said no with a tear in my eye, just because being a kid, I thought I always wanted to be in the military. I thought I always wanted to be a 20-year lifer and all this stuff and then get out. But there was a lot of like questions I had to really ask myself that day, which was, am I doing this because it's making me happy and I could see myself doing this the rest of my life? Or am I doing this because I was always told by the outside noise is something that you should be doing to benefit yourself in the future? And yeah, that was the real sucker punch, was walking away from my unit with empty bags and basically just saying, that's the end of my military career. And then I became very fat.
Really?
Oh God, no, yeah. Then I became very, 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 very fat. I went from 230 to 283 in a month and a half. Due to the drinking, due to the constant sweets eating. The biggest thing I was always downing were the big ice cream Oreo sandwiches.
Yeah, they're bomb.
They're too bomb, especially when you're in an elevated mind state. I'll put it to you that way, with some extra greens. And when I found myself downing a box almost every night. So a box has four. Yeah, a box has four of them. So I was downing a box of those almost every night. So it was no wonder I looked down, and it really wasn't until my brother's birthday in 2018 that my cousin Cass and Cass and my brother looked at me and they said, "What a gut you got!" And I looked down and I was like, damn, I really did get a cut. They said, I was like, last time I weighed myself, I was like only like 250 something. I stepped on the scale and then I said 275, and I went, oh, wow, okay.
We gotta change that. I can't picture you fat.
Oh yeah, there's I'm pretty sure I have a couple of transformation pictures on my Instagram, which is Welshcare _ tails. I just changed it. I can't remember which one I changed it to, but yeah. So even after that, you'd have thought that would have been my go-to to start with lifting weights and all that stuff. No, in fact, it actually sent me down further. I went down further in my depression. June 28th 2018 was my suicide attempt. I had
what?
Oh yeah, no, I was down bad. Between being
that's the day before my birthday. Just
no shit.
Yeah, swear to God.
Ooh, little chilly.
Yeah.
But it was a night where I was, by myself. Never in this household am I ever by myself, but I was alone and I was still drinking at the time. I had gotten my hands on some pills. At the time, I was also popping pills on the side to help ease my pain. And in reality, it just put me deeper down into a hole that I almost didn't come out of, because I downed half a bottle of Jack along with a handful of Perks and Vikes. Then within a matter of 2 seconds of it hitting my stomach, everything came literally right back out. It projectile right across the room. Like, the best way I can compare it to was between that episode of Family Guy when they all do that challenge. It's basically like that across the room. So
it's a good episode, by the way. Just a
great episode. Great episode. Peter gets into money and he says, "Hey, why not?" But yeah, basically the next day it became like, I want to say, the more of the clarity day. So June 29th is the day where I feel like I woke up and I saw the grass was a little greener, the sky was a little bluer. It was like that typical, that cliche saying, but at the same time, it's a reality. When that night, it was horrible. I just was sulking in tears while cleaning up my vomit. It was a horrible mess. It looked like I was hungover, but it was such a horrible, horrible, horrible mess. I was picking up vomit from like chunks and then trying to clean out the stains also. The
Damn,
smell was
dude.
the smell wasn't even that. The smell was horrible. Also, I don't even everything I ate that day came out. So
You
the
saw
smell
all
was
your insides come out, literally.
rancid. I'm thankful there was no blood or anything in the vomit because it only had just hit my stomach. But after I finally had fallen asleep that night, I woke up. The sky was greener. The sky was greener. Wow. The blue sky was bluer and the grass was greener, and it was from that day that I really took my ass to the gym. And then
So my
saw
birthday was the day you saw the light.
yeah, basically the next day I woke up, I was like, wow, it's actually a pretty sunny day, and the grass looks actually pretty nice. And yeah, I think I'm gonna do something about this.
Isn't
And
it crazy how literally a simple shift in your mindset can like change your entire fucking existence?
absolutely.
It's nuts.
The
Anyway,
one
sorry.
No, you're good. You're good as part of the conversation. In reality, it all comes down to your mentality on how you handle adversity, how you handle obstacles, but most importantly, how you handle your inner demons and the things that you
Yeah.
still can't get over.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to officially find myself, capable enough to start like, getting involved into a relationship. But then, because it was years of rebuilding my character, years of rebuilding the things that I had destroyed internally, mentally, spiritually, everything that had, I had the worst thing I ever did. The going back to the original mistake was getting involved in a relationship right after I had gotten involved. A relationship, I don't want to say like split. It just like crumbled. My first relationship, uh,
Mm.
like 5 years long, high school sweetheart, all that stuff. Got engaged, realized this wasn't the one, and thankfully, before we got married, uh, a couple of my friends are getting divorced, and wow, that is a hefty payment, and it
Yeah.
costs way more to get divorced than it does to get married. So keep that in mind before you actually say those
Before you
vows.
tie
Uh
the
huh.
knot. We have
Uh huh.
similar stories too. Like I saved up money for an engagement ring for my ex, and like right before buying it, we broke up. Which I was like, all right, cool.
Now you got money.
Right. Right. Now I got
Yeah, I
money.
wish that was my case, because then I had spent $1,500 on a ring that I had to sell at a pawn shop. I wasn't getting any buyers from anywhere else. Wasn't getting any buyers on the Facebook Marketplace, Let Go, all those things. Yeah, $150.
150. Are
And that
you joking?
and that was my highest offer, and I ran with it. I brought it to 12 different pawn shops around Long Island. 12. And here's the one scam about diamonds. Diamonds are
Mm,
worth literally nothing unless it's
they
a
aren't.
giant diamond. If a diamond is in the clusters and then it's in like a little case and then it gets put on a ring, that diamond that ring is literally worth nothing. Having every single like pawn shop up until the 12th one basically say $35, $45, $50. That was the lowest offer I got hit was 25.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, on a
Yeah.
$1,500 ring. So before anybody goes to K Jewelers and gets their credit card and they decides to make a payment on something that is completely fucking worthless, I would highly encourage you to look into some actual like value stones, like actual gold, a solid diamond, not like
Yeah.
don't look for the clusters. Be smart if you're gonna buy a ring.
Fuck
But
that. My fiance, she's getting cryptocurrency. That's more valuable.
hey, at this right now, oh,
I
it's a,
know. I know.
right now it's a little we're taking a little bit of a hit, but
I know.
it's only for a short time. Believe me, in the long
It
run.
always goes
Exactly.
right up.
If anybody is smart, this is the buy. This is when you buy the dip. Buy the
I
dip.
started buying the 2 nights ago because everything was like plummeting, and I'm like, all right, I'm
hmm
buying in.
Right now, we're at a point where if people aren't buying in right now, they're really gonna miss out when it comes down to that May June that half of the year part.
Yeah.
And basically, the same thing happened last year, where yeah, Dogecoin literally go from a penny or 2 pennies all the way up to 73 cents. So and then it It was big last year. So
I bought Dogecoin too late though.
Oh, what'd you buy it at? 50, 60?
Yeah,
Ah,
I know, stupid.
no,
Now
it's okay.
I bought Shiba Inu.
Yeah, Sheba
Now,
is like that. I have it in like a keepsake. It's like, yeah, why not? Throw $5 here, throw $5
yeah,
there, because eventually I'm praying one day. It's what,
right. If it
uh,
goes up to a cent, I'm making 25 grand. So
to put it into some other like other channel. What the fuck am I saying? To to promote another channel, there's something called a channel called Earn Your Leisure,
mm,
and basically they're really big into freeing you from financial difficulties, but to also educating you. Every single
yeah,
Monday, there's Market Mondays, and basically all the information that they've been spewing, it's been insane how accurate they have been. I'll send you a couple of their I'll send you their
yeah.
posts, so on Instagram. I'll send you
I'm
their
I'm
page. They're
getting
big.
so yeah, I'm getting so like crypto and NFTs. I'm like so into it now. Like I just bought like a bunch of books on Amazon. Like the way I used to be was if I didn't understand something, I didn't care to learn. And I was just like, fuck that. But what I'm realizing is when you do that, you miss out on shit. So now I'm like, oh,
Hmm.
okay, what are people talking about? They're talking about NFTs and crypto. All right, I'm going to learn as much as I possibly can. I'm going to drill it into my fucking brain and hopefully make some money off of it. You know?
The best advice I was ever given, I'm pretty sure I've said it on this podcast before, was be a sponge. No
Yes.
matter what, be a sponge. I was told this back in 2014 by my cousin Sal. And from his advice alone, no matter what job I've worked at, no matter where I've gone as far as for a party or for a trip or for no matter where I've gone, I've always taken up some type of information, because you never know when that information is going to be used, and it could also
Yeah.
be useful.
Yes. I think knowledge, it's cliche, but knowledge really is power. I feel like there are so many people walking around not even giving a shit about certain even aside from like crypto or NFTs or things that could make you money, like there are so many more people than not walking around like fucking zombies, just doing their 9 to 5, like living in this fucking circular bullshit, um not even willing to learn because they just don't have the access to certain things, or like nobody's sitting there saying, hey buddy, go read this fucking book, it's going to change your life. You know what I mean? Like we just constantly live in these hamster wheels. And I used to be the type of person that if something seemed hard, I'd give up. And now I'm the type of person where if it seems hard, I'm literally fucking everybody off, and I'm spending time in these four walls learning it as much as I possibly can so that I can say that I conquered it. Like that's where I'm at right now. And I'm also at this place where if it's not benefiting me and if I'm not learning something, I don't want to do it. Like I don't want to go out and drink my face off anymore. I don't
And
want to
that's the
go out.
mentality.
Yeah.
That's the mentality that people are scared to embrace, because they rather numb it with the party, and they rather have
Yeah.
that temporary feeling of euphoria with a night that they're never going to remember, but spending $200 or $300 on a random drink that they're gonna suffer the next day from. Oh,
Yep.
I'm so thankful that that I learned in a very, very early age. Going out is just not worth it at all whatsoever.
No.
Your
What are you
safe risk,
gaining?
your safety,
Yeah.
your overall health, the chances of something happening that night, also the money you spend. When you're drunk,
Yes.
it's a swipe, swipe, swipe. Whatever comes out, my money. It's whatever the next day. That guy's got to worry about it tomorrow, and then you work comes tomorrow, and then boom, you wake up with a headache. You feel like shit. It takes you 2 or 3 days to recover from that. Now it's just not fucking worth it at all.
There's no net gain from it. Like literally, you're not growing in any sort of way. Okay, maybe you're getting laid, but do you even remember?
Yeah,
You-
it and it wasn't even a solid performance at that too.
right, right. You're not making love. Like you're
No,
getting like, you know what
it's
I
whiskey
mean?
dick on top of fucking a dry. It's dry hot dog roll. It's like
Right.
it's exactly what it's like.
I'm
But
sure I've had some good sex while drunk, but I don't remember it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's a blur. I'm pretty sure I've fallen asleep during one time as well.
I think
It
I have
wouldn't
to.
surprise me as well. But the only one thing I would say about going out that you it's okay, it's like a business trip, like a business meeting or like a
Yeah.
business something, like to talk business, to talk numbers, all the other things, to go out and then if you land big on a deal, cheers, boom, that great. Then
Hell yeah.
I'm all about that. But for just every Friday, Saturday night to sit there and just drink your life away, to try and feel some type of euphoria, the type of feels type of happiness out of it, it just does nothing but just dig you like a deeper hole within that
Yes.
like grave of wanting to save yourself from
Yeah.
the feelings of having to feel.
Right. That's exactly. I mean, and I've been there. I've been that person that literally drank my feeling. Like I'm sober now, but I drank my
Congratulations.
thank you. Thank you. A little over a month and I'm trying to hit a year and I have no fucking desire at this point cuz it's again, it's just a shift in my mindset. Like I finally took a step back and I was like, what am I gaining other than debilitating anxiety from all of this? What am I
Hmm.
how am I bettering myself? Like from 3 months ago till now, going out every Friday and Saturday and drinking my face off, how has it benefited me? Has it pushed me further along to where I want to be? Absolutely not. It's actually done the opposite. So I finally was just like, you know what? I need a reset. But I was that person that was running from my feelings, my depression. I was numbing from like depression and just consistently fucking needing to be around people is another thing. Like I didn't want to be alone with myself. And when I was alone, I wanted to be drunk, you know? So uh it got bad, but now I'm like I feel good, you know, I feel really good, motivated.
It takes time,
Yeah.
especially when you're putting down the bottle for that going to straight up sober. The
Yes.
first like week or two is painful because you want to have that little bit of that boost that alcohol gives, that like that fuck it, that non give a shit attitude, that like let me just go out and like party it up, let me express my emotions, let me say something I'm probably going to regret and all this shit. Like, the deeper that you go into the bottle, then boom, like, the more aggressive you get. Like these are just
Yup.
the things that, first off, also, if you're an aggressive person, you shouldn't be drinking at all, period, whatsoever.
Thank you. Yes.
Just
100%.
find something else, smoke weed, do something else, as far as
Take an edible.
take an edible, like go to Neptune, all that shit, take some shrooms, you know, anything other than drink, because there is nothing worse than an over aggressive drunk who is just either getting mad at every little other thing that you're saying that they're not even comprehending,
Right.
or they're just overall physically abusive. And none of that needs to be in your system at all. If you are the slightest bit aggressive when you're drunk, doesn't need to go
Right.
any further.
No,
Yeah,
cut it. Yeah.
cut it.
I
Don't
mean,
need
I'm
it.
not, I'm a very fun drunk, but even so, I was like aggressive to myself. You know what I mean? Like there were
Mm-hmm.
so many nights that people don't even know. Like normally people see me and they're like, "You're really fun," and I am. I love having fun. I love, you know, hanging out
Yeah,
with
you never leave
everybody.
the dance floor.
What?
You never leave the dance floor when it's out.
I don't. I really don't. But you know what? That's even me sober. But there are so many nights that like I had nights like that and then I'd come home and I'd be alone and I'd cry myself to fucking sleep more
Mm-mm.
times than I'd like to admit. You know what I mean? So people don't notice like the behind the scenes of like alcohol too, you know? It's not just like, "Oh, you're a shit drunk." I was a shit drunk, but nobody knew about it cuz I'd come home and like deal with my shit, you know? So,
No, I did. No, I know exactly what you mean. Is there'd be times where I'm at, like, I have friends and when everyone comes over and then everyone leaves and I'm alone and drunk, and it's just like, damn, what a great time. And then you sit there and you're reflecting, and it's like, damn, now that euphoric energy is like going down, it's crashing a little by little, and then it's like, shit, now I'm alone in my thoughts and I'm drunk. This is no good, and it's just, you just sit there and then go to a deeper depressed panic state. And it's another reason why I had to stop drinking as well, just because of the amount of times that I've gone into that state of being too drunk and then blacking out, not
Yep.
remembering anything the next day, got too aggressive, got too loud, got too this. And
You're aggressive?
oh God, no, trust me. If there's too much mixing, it's
I
a
see.
it's something that I am proud that I don't go to that state anymore whatsoever. I haven't since July of 2018,
Oh wow, dope.
which was since that was the last time I got really fucked up. I since then maybe I went first off I went 2 years sober after that. Went 2 years no alcohol, no nothing. But then I didn't want it to be that thing I ran away from. I didn't want it to be that crutch of like, nah, I can't do it. I'm gonna get too aggressive. Like, no, motherfucker, learn the limit, learn your shit. You're not 20, you're not 18, 19 years old anymore. Learn your fucking limit and then see what it's like to actually be controlled when you're drunk versus when I was drinking before just to get as blacked out as I fucking could. And
Yeah.
I would drink as much. I would outdrink anybody. I would try to outdrink as many people as possible. And then what would that end up with me being a fucking aggressive blacked out drunk? That really is not fun to be around at all. My family can attest to it. There's been plenty of times when I was drunk and it was like overly drunk, like completely blacked out, and things went south very fast. Like I just posted that picture recently of me downing a bottle like this, and that was on my 22nd birthday. And yeah, you can see I have a gut also because at the same time I was drinking a lot.
I gotta watch. I
And
gotta look at this.
oh yes, no, there's some stuff that they people see me now, but then if I literally just show you how it was 3 years ago, it's a completely different animal. It's a completely different story. It's a completely different
Same.
human.
Yeah, I was like
It's
50 pounds heavier. We kind of
changed.
have similar stories.
Yeah,
I,
so I feel like this is destined to happen. This was made to come to fruition. Yeah,
yeah,
that's what I'm thinking
yeah,
for.
that's the word.
But well, there's the other thing. There was a couple other books that between David Goggins, You Can Hurt Me, but then there was another book that I really do feel people can relate to. This one here, Charlemagne's Shook Ones.
Oh,
So this book here, one second, let me move away from the mic again.
Charlemagne shook one. All right, I'm gonna have to.
So that book there, if you're somebody who grew up in the middle class, struggling mentally, but always told to toughen up, get over it, all these little things. And that book there is basically a lot of people who grew up with like street mentality or grew up in streets or grew up poor can really relate to, because there's a lot in that book that you find yourself when you're reading. It's almost like you're talking to yourself.
Mm,
And the full title of the book is Shook Ones, My Mind Playing Tricks on Me. And it's
mm.
basically just overall about Charlemagne's road to his mental health journey. And basically how he got to where he's at now through therapy, through spiritual healing, through overall cleansing out the people in his life, to alcohol cleansing, all these things that he's did to really strengthen up his character. And I know that people, whenever they hear Charlemagne the God, they immediately cringe. But if
I
you
love
really take
him.
same, like if thankfully he signed that book for both me and my
That's dope.
sister. I called up to the radio station one day and expressed something that was going on with our family, and he signed both a copy for me and my sister and sent us he sent it to us. So thankful for him. But also, just if people really take the time to listen to the people that you don't agree with, you'll find that you agree with them a lot more than you think.
Yeah,
Like I didn't when I first came back from basic training is when I started listening to the Breakfast Club, and it took me Breakfast Club has been on for almost 12 years, and it took me like 4.5, almost 5 years of them being on for me to actually start listening to them and getting really, like, I want to say, understanding from their side of their point of view on things, just because I was always set on one mentality. But when you start putting yourselves in other people's shoes and you start to look at the other side and you start seeing that their 6 is actually a 9 and your 9 is actually a 6,
Mm-hmm.
it's like those things right there, you can appreciate when you start to see from their side.
Yeah.
And when you start to see it from their side, you start to smack yourself a little bit in the back of the head. It's like, damn dummy, how the fuck you weren't thinking like that?
Yeah. No, it's the truth. And it's easy to live in the echo chambers that we put ourselves into. And that's not even like outside of politics. Like we just live in these fucking we have essentially our we put ourselves around yes men that just like regurgitate back to us the things that we just want to hear. And
Mm-hmm.
so we walk around like these arrogant fucktards thinking that we're right all the time, like myself included. Like I've been an arrogant fucktard in life on certain subjects. Like, wait a second, somebody has a different experience here, and that's okay. Like you're right. You have to listen to the other side.
In an era where everyone is trying to be so divisive,
Mm.
it's so important to really sit down with the other side and hear them out and really listen, and not listen with the intent to actually understand, not with the intent to reply. If
Yeah.
you're listening with that intent to actually understand it, you'll be able to pick out not everything that they say is, you agree with, but there are certain things that you can pick, like, okay, I could see why they think this. I could see why that's a thing.
Yeah.
Instead of just immediately attacking that person for having that opposite view or that opposite belief. But and like I said, and we're so in an era of division
Yeah.
that everyone wants to be. It's tribal too. Everybody wants to consider themselves one thing, and they're in one thing. If people really took the time to actually understand their enemy, I believe it's an old saying. I can't forget who said it. I can't remember. I can't
Yeah.
remember who said it. But if you actually take the time to understand your enemies, you realize that there is only one common thing that you guys are trying to fight, and it's just your sense of evil. And reality, evil is nothing but just a evil is what you make it. It's
Yes.
evil is what you make it. Now, murder and everything else like that, obviously evil. But having somebody a different belief of what you may think is not evil.
Right.
Like right now, is somebody currently in this state, if somebody chooses to get the vaccine, they're not evil. If someone chooses not to get the vaccine, they're
They're
not
not
evil.
evil. Right.
They're not evil at all whatsoever. Some
It's your
people are just,
choice.
exactly. And people are forgetting that you still have a choice at the end of the day. Now, it's your choice. Stop
Right.
trying to make a comparison of like, oh, well, this person did that. This person, no, do what's best for you, what you think is best for you at the end of the day.
Right. And Godspeed with it. You know what I mean? Like seriously, uh, I agree with that 100%. The arguments, and there's a lot of misinformation too, I think, from both
Mm-hmm.
sides, and that's disheartening. The most disheartening thing is the um lack of the correct information from all fucking spectrums. Like we're just literally, you might as well just put fucking blindfolds on us all and tell
Mm-hmm.
us to go like find our own way. You know what I mean? Because that's how crazy it is. Like I have my stance on it, obviously, but 100% this whole like demonizing people for certain choices, or even me, like people look at me on certain sides of the spectrum and look at me and as a lesbian and say that I'm evil just because of who I love. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, it's an a there's morality and then there's amorality, which means morality has nothing to fucking do with it. You know what I mean? Like it's neither good nor bad.
If people would just mind their own business
Fucking
and
business,
stick to
right?
some fucking morals, it's just the simple things. The biggest hypocrites are the ones that really do preach the Bible. Oh, love thy neighbor, but you'll crucify them at the same time just for them
Right, right,
having
right.
tattoos or having some type of a different ideology or believing in pro-choice and all these things, and you're immediately a baby killing demon. Like, no, it's no. At the end of the day, if that woman got raped and that baby is that that demon's baby, do you really feel that that person should have the same guilt of seeing that baby, because eventually what happens to those children that become rape babies? At
Trauma.
the end of the day, a lot of trauma, because the mother has what? A lot of trauma from that experience, and it's from
And
that
it's
person.
passed down.
Exactly. So I think we're in a great generation also at the same time, because our generation is starting to focus more on the mental health,
Yes.
uh, versus 15 years ago. If you had mentioned you were depressed or anxiety, you were immediately looked at as an attention seeking,
Crazy person.
yeah, yeah, attention seeking crazy person. And some people whose cry out for help would be always constantly ignored because no one actually understood what anxiety, what depression truly is. And now that I believe that it's going to be passed down to generation more, that mental wealth comes from mental health,
Yo.
and
Oh, I love
it's
that.
it's overall just how you truly take every, both good event and terrible life-changing event, and where your mind stays with it.
Yeah.
If you're stuck in the past and you're that person who is completely dwelling on the situation that's already passed and there's nothing else that you can do about it, it's out of your control, like no matter what you do now, it's not going to change whatever happened. That's like the victim mentality.
Yes.
You're
And there
waiting for
is.
someone to save you.
Yes. I've met so many people that are stuck in that victim mentality where, like, and I'm next week I will officially be like a certified life coach. Like, I'll have the certification. But
Congratulations.
thank you. Thank you so much. Just another fucking hat I'm putting on. But when I'm coaching people, sometimes I notice it, and like, you want to just shake them and be like, okay, that happened. You know what I mean? Like, you went through that, and your feelings of sadness are valid, right? Like, but what are you going to do now going forward to help yourself through it? You know what I mean? We've all gotten heartbroken. We've all experienced, like you said, some sort of pain. That's what we can all relate to. But it's how we deal with that pain that sets us apart. Like Jacko, what's his last name? Jacko Willink.
Jacko Willink, yeah.
How has he dealt with, and what's the other guy's name? Goggins.
David Goggins, yeah.
Look at him and his story, and how he literally overcame everything. Anybody with that victim mentality could have been given that same exact scenario and situation and let it consume them and let them and just become perpetual victims. But all you have to do is just change your mindset and be like, okay, this is hard for me. It's harder for me than everybody else around me. Like, I'm seeing other people surpass me. Do I give up, or do I literally double down on what the fuck I'm doing and make sure that I can at least catch up, to where other people are? First of all, why the fuck are you comparing yourself to other people? But that's what we do anyway. That's what I do.
At the end of the day, there's always going to be a little bit of comparison, but as long as the majority of your time you're not comparing yourself to somebody else,
Right.
you're not living to live like somebody else, like especially as a trainer, the one thing I always tell clients: stop trying to look like somebody else and try to look like your best self at the end of the day,
Yeah.
because you don't know what the other people have been through in the past. You don't know what other things they are taking. You don't know what other extra help that they have. You don't know what other
What
supplements or
surgeries?
surgeries, all these other things that they're going through, or even what type of genetics they have. Some people are genuinely genetically able to have abs and be able to eat whatever the hell they want. Other people take a look at a cookie and gain 5 pounds. It's
Yeah.
all about genetics at the end of the day. So it's how you also now are going to take the information that you're dealt with, the cards that you're dealt with. How are you
How
going
are
to
you
play
gonna
them
play
out?
them? Yeah.
That person
Absolutely.
over there may have a full house, but you may not realize it, but you have a four of a kind, but you're too focused on that person's full house to have a full of a kind, to have four of a
Yeah.
kind.
Yeah. Absolutely. And you know what? I think the person who I listen to a lot of Gary Vaynerchuk too, and
Shout out Gary V.
I love him. Oh my god, I have every single one of his books. Like, he's just amazing. But what he says is basically our adversities also can become our superpowers too. You know, the things that we fucking go through. He loves. I'm pointing over here because I have his book laying on my bed.
Hmm.
He loves the fact that he was an immigrant and he came to this country with nothing. Why? Because now he's something, and he didn't, and he, you know, he has something to show for it, and it has nothing to do with. A lot of people are like, well, I'm an immigrant or whatever. Well, I was given this card, these cards, and I that means that I can't become this. Well, there's proof that whatever cards you're dealt, you can become anything you fucking want to, as long as you have the mental wherewithal to fucking do it. You know what I mean?
Yep. Consistency,
Yeah.
discipline, and patience are the
Yes.
key three emotions and the key three elements of life to have. You don't have those three things, it's bleak. Everything becomes more, I'm waiting on the next motivational moment. In reality, another thing I tell every single one of my clients, motivation is a very fun word, but it doesn't get you shit.
No.
Discipline, consistency, and patience are what gets you to where you want to be with everything. When
Yeah.
as far as like even wanting to live better, wanting to live a healthier lifestyle. You're wanting to venture out and start up a podcast. You're wanting to venture out and you start up a business. Like these, everything starts off with just the basic crawling steps. Everything, you have to learn it. You're not going to be an expert the second you touch it. Like there's certain things you have to really sit down and take a backtrack and learn and really listen, and then be patient with it, but consistent and disciplined enough to get after it every single day.
Yeah. It's like a farmer. Like a farmer doesn't plant the seeds and then the next day get frustrated that nothing's budding yet. It's like they have to understand that you have to water it and keep watering it and just have the faith that eventually a beautiful fucking whatever the fuck it is they're planting is gonna come, and you know they're gonna be able to make some sort of profit off of it. That's this It's the same thing. I heard somebody say, I don't remember who said it, but like a pregnant woman. They equated pregnancy to like manifesting whatever you want in your life. And like a pregnant woman takes one test and she gets that. Well, okay, sometimes she'll take more than one, but she gets that one positive test that tells her she's pregnant. Maybe she'll take two more to just like kind of confirm. Once she's confirmed pregnant by the doctor and she takes the blood test that she needs, and it's like, no, you are pregnant. Throughout her pregnancy, she doesn't continue to check, like, am I still pregnant? Am I still pregnant? Because she has the faith to know that there's something growing within her. And it's kind of like that. You have to just keep showing up for yourself and knowing that if you just keep showing up, something's going to come from it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It especially when it comes down to just fitness in general, mental fitness, physical fitness, spiritual fitness. Yes, there is such a thing as spiritual fitness because you need to have some type of spiritual connection and you need to rebuild that spiritual strength, whether it be through your beliefs that you were taught through a book or whether it be something that just fell into your lap. But it's still fitness at the end of the day because you have to be consistent and disciplined enough to wake up every day, say those affirmations, say thank you, say I appreciate myself. Like my four affirmations every single morning. All right, I'm thankful for myself, love myself, appreciate myself, all praise to God. Those are the things I say every single morning before I even take a look at my phone, before my feet even touch the floor. Those are the four things. I tap my chest and I say those four things every
I love
single
that.
time with the rhythm. Now, am I the most religious person? No. I obviously I sin, but at the same time, I'm very thankful, appreciative, and I also do have a sense of faith and belief that there is something else out there. But it is my discipline that keeps me up there, that gets me up every morning when it's 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, and I had to drive my happy ass out to Holbrook at when there's no one on the LIE, and it takes me normally only 10 minutes to get there at that time. And then the other days I wake up, but it's a little later, and then it takes me 30 minutes to get there. It's like because of the traffic, but it's still I have a job to do. I have a career to do. I have people I need to influence, and I have something that I actually don't feel like it's work. When I wake up and I'm on my way into the gym, I'm not cursing out the wheel. I'm not, cursing out the radio. I'm actually sitting there. Usually either having some type of podcast on, or I'll be sitting there in silence and then just affirm myself for what I'm going to be doing for the week, the day, whatever it's going to be, and depending on what I'm feeling that day and the emotions through the morning. But clients will appreciate when they actually can rely on you being there
Yeah.
earlier before them. That's why I try to go as early as possible. But I have clients that come in, you know, ew, fucking puberty moment. They come in between 6:37, sometimes 6 o'clock. But are they tired? Absolutely. Do they feel like they need they want to be there? No. But in reality, they're there because they want to make changes.
Yeah.
And that's all it is, just a mentality. Again, it comes back to the mentality. Everything comes back down to your mentality, how you deal with things, how you deal with the adversity, how you deal with, everything that comes down to good and bad. If
Yeah.
you come into money, are you just blowing it away on some booze? If you're coming into money, are you actually going to invest it and then put into the money into the community? Like, I've made it very well known that my plan for the future is to have a facility here in Brentwood that caters towards the youth to get them off the streets and to focus more on building up their emotional health and physical health at the same time,
That's amazing.
to so we don't have to deal with half the shit that we dealt with growing up. The amount of uh things that we've seen, the amount of people we've lost, these things that kids should not be seeing when they're growing up. There's so much trauma that was un that was not dealt with
Yeah.
for these kids. And I think it's important for them to know at a very early age how to deal with these emotions. Otherwise, they're going to be stuck in their emotions.
Yeah. And it's easy. Like we live in a fucking society that does not want to face emotions or anything. Like I can't tell you how many people I've come across that I know that like the sign of emotionality, is that even a word? I don't know. I just made it up.
It,
But
it is now.
all right, fuck it. The sign of like any ounce of emotions just scares the fuck out of people, even myself. And that's why we do develop the bad habits and the bad coping mechanisms, because like you said, like nobody wants to it's work. It's fucking
Yeah,
work.
yeah.
And it's
At the end
not
of the day,
it's
it's
not
exactly what it
easy.
is.
It's not easy
It's
to like take a look at yourself in the mirror and strip yourself emotionally bare of all the things that you've been fucking hiding and just cry at yourself in the mirror. That's not an easy thing to do. So
that's the other thing, that if you're out there and you're having a hard time even just looking in the mirror, don't even go to work that day. Call out, sit down and do some therapy. Because if you're having you can't even do the basic concept of just looking yourself in the mirror, it is damn near impossible for you to grow overall in general. If you just can't even bear the sight of what you see, you're not going to grow.
no,
Point being, you're not going to grow at all. And
no,
to
that's
those who are
shitty
looking in the
swing.
mirror too much and they're trying to point out every little flaw, stop that, because
Yeah,
we are also human. Everybody makes mistakes, but it's all a matter of what you make out of those mistakes. Those
yeah,
mistakes you can turn into lessons. And I say this before. I say this every single time that someone talks to me about their problems. You can take that mistake and turn it into a lesson and make that lesson into a blessing. Every
yeah,
single time. It's just a matter of how you are going to challenge yourself to stay above the water and to climb through the storm, to push through the winds, to literally stomp each foot forward and to get that disciplined mentality, to show up every day and being consistent, but also being patient. And also, the fourth one, being thankful that you're
yes,
growing. Take
yes,
the time to say thank you. If you're not taking that time to say thank you, you're not going to truly appreciate when you either step on that scale, or you see those commas in your bank account, or you're seeing those views that you're finally seeing on whichever social media site that you're on right now. It's the basic steps of taking steps, one
yeah,
foot in front of the other, and just not stopping. No matter how hard it may get, you'll get knocked down, but you get back up and you keep fucking walking.
yeah. And you know what? We were, we as human beings were built that way because if you look at a baby who's learning how to walk, a baby doesn't get up on 2 feet, walk a little bit, stumble and say, ah, fuck this, I'm done. I'm
Nope.
never gonna learn to walk. Imagine none of
That's
us would
it.
be
That's
walking.
great. That's a great mentality. And actually, I didn't really thought about that. Babies actually have to continuously, no matter how, if they want to or not, they're gonna have to keep trying to walk, and eventually they start
Yeah.
walking.
It's innate within us to be that way, but we get, as we get older and we become more cognizant again of the voices around us and like whatever, we continue to tell ourselves it's easier to fucking give up. But like, no, you were created, literally, you were made to continue to get back up. Like, life is fucked sometimes, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Sometimes, a lot of times,
a lot of the times,
every day, there's a
right?
part of life that's fucked
Yeah. Always. There's always something. And if it's not fucking you, it's fucking somebody you know and care about. You
with
know what
no
I
lube.
mean? No lube and with a cactus right up the fucking anus, you know? Like, it's just, it is what it is. And it's okay to feel the shit. But what's more imperative is that you fucking get back up and you push through it, you know, barrel
Yeah.
yourself through it. So,
One of Jacko's best videos that he ever put out, as far as a quick clip, was his good clip, and it's a 3.5 minute video, and basically it's a video I really I want to say I watch at least twice to three times a week, just because when I watch, I have it the actual audio saved on my Spotify, so it's part of my rotation of songs I listen to, and it's not really even a song, it's just literally him talking. But the mentality of good, something happens that's bad is good. And for my example of that, was my car accident, which was, yeah, it was a shitty situation, but at the same time, paying too much for a car, didn't really love the car itself. The insurance paying too much on that. So what happens? I ended up with a actually cheaper car, cheaper payment, and cheaper insurance at the end of the day. I think I was able to walk from the car accident. But then the other thing, I always bring it back to, and I have it tattooed on my arm, the date of it, in Roman numerals, was my house fire back in 2013. You
yeah, I
know,
forgot about that.
yeah, it was a day. Yeah, it was bad. It was a horrific event that really left its stain on my brain. But at the same time, it was an old house that had old wiring that was uh, on the verge of having multiple different issues. As they found, the more they gutted it, the more they found that the house is basically collapsing.
Oh,
And
fuck.
yeah, the cesspool pipeline, two of the areas were completely rotting away. So then that was going to be a whole new project in itself, by itself. Then I think it was like the walling, or like the water pipelines in the house. Some of them are getting ready, like were getting ready to burst. So let's just say it was definitely, it was, again, it was a traumatic event, and it was definitely a day we did lose a cat and three birds that day.
Oh,
But me and my family, everybody made it out. We lost a lot of material items, but at the same time, we, we all survived. Lived in a trailer for a year, literally on top of the property. And every time I say it, it was a good thing that happened, because now we have a brand new house, brand new wiring, brand new pipes. We were able to put an extension on the house to give more room. I wouldn't have ended up with this part of the apartment alone at all whatsoever if it wasn't for that day. Uh, and a lot of my mentality also, I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for that day. Like, there was a lot of other life experiences that made me a little more motivational, but that day was the day that truly set me off to a state of wanting to help others heal, be better with themselves, but also showing that you can literally rise from the ashes if you stay motivated and disciplined enough.
yeah, absolutely. And even um like COVID-19, it's a tragic pandemic globally. Like, we've never experienced anything like that. Like, COVID, and this is not to take away from anybody who lost during COVID, lost their job, lost a member of their family, a loved one. But for me, COVID changed my life for the better. because it really was that event that caused you to kind of take a step back and look at like your life and where you were. I was in nursing school again, like doing things. I was in nursing school for everybody else, you know, like for the validation I was getting from my family, like good job, like pat on the back,
Yeah.
you're going into a good profession. This is where you're supposed to be. Deep down, I knew it wasn't where I wanted to be, you know. Um, and with the help of like some friends who were like, Tori, you know what you love or whatever, and like me really taking a step back, it was that moment, COVID, everything shutting down, and like joining TikTok and becoming, you know, getting a following on TikTok and starting a podcast, that I was like, wait a second, this is, as much as this might be harder, this is where I want to be, this is what I want to do.
It
So
feels
like,
natural. It doesn't
yeah,
feel like work. It feels something that you can literally just turn on the microphone and go.
yeah, exactly. So sometimes those fucking tragic moments propel us. They're there to like, you know, catapult us to
Think
where
of it
we're
as
supposed to
slingshot.
be.
Some things are meant to pull us back to push us forward.
Yep, that's
And
exactly it.
COVID really brought out a two-sided mentality. You either made it or it either made you or it broke you.
Yeah.
And thankfully, I'm on the other side of also that it made me, because it was time for me to also focus on my studying online. I got my certifications all through the pandemic,
Amazing.
and yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you. And then I also was able to really venture out of my comfort zone. Really started recording my versions of podcasting. You know, the first 6 months of the year last year, I stopped in June because of getting too busy with my schedule. But whenever I, you know, got to interviewing somebody or even just got into a conversation, it always feels natural. Like I never have to force a conversation. Like it's always like I already have like a whole lineup of questions I can ask, a whole uh you know memory bank of mistakes and things that could turn into lessons for people to really relate to. But it just feels good when you're behind a mic and you have the ability to actually touch somebody and emotionally, like tell them like, hey, you know, I've been down that road alone. I've been, you haven't been alone all this time.
Yeah.
In reality, there's a lot of other people that are going through the same exact emotions, same exact pain, same exact trauma. It's just they're also closeted and don't want to express it because they're too afraid of letting that get used against them.
Yeah.
So trust me,
Vulner
yeah,
Vulnerability is fucking, it's
mm,
scary, right? But
very,
people look at it as a weakness, but it's another superpower, you know, like when you can be completely, first of all, when you can lay yourself bare, um not even just to yourself, but like emotionally on a platform for a bunch of people, nobody could come for you because you're coming for yourself. Like,
yeah.
you know?
If you make fun of yourself and if you are roasting yourself and you're also, you know, literally pointing out your own flaws,
Yeah.
that nobody is able to hold anything against you.
Nope.
Like they tell your secrets, like literally let you be an open book. Literally, like
Right.
people, like when you walk around, people can immediately read you.
Yeah.
I don't care. I have that ability that people can read me all the time. I'll tell everybody my experiences. I'll tell everybody my problems. It's not a problem for me at all because at the end of the day, you're not going to use anything against me. You're
Nope.
not going to use any problems. You're not going to use any of my traumas. You're not going to use no weapon formed against me shall ever prosper.
Nope. I'll tell you exactly where I fucked up, where I'm still fucking up, where I need to work, like put more work into it. Like I'll tell you where I'm doing amazing. Like there's nothing you can say because I'm completely vulnerable to all of my flaws and like things I need to improve. You know what I mean? Nobody can come for me. Nobody could be like, yeah, you know, I know Tori drinks her feelings. Yeah, I know. I talk about it, you know,
Yeah,
like all the fucking time.
if you live your truth, there's no like regret of you saying anything you like that comes out of your mouth because at the end of the day, you're living your truth. You're not hiding a lie. You're not putting on a mask. And that's a true feeling of freedom, of
Yeah.
being able to live your character, being able to live who you are and not give a single flying fuck on who thinks about what they think about, or are they going to say this, are they going to say that? Fuck them, because if it was for any of that, I wouldn't be swinging my mace around. I wouldn't be swinging my clubs around looking like a damn Tarzan with my fucking hair all long and shit. Like at the end
It's
of
the
the
truth.
day, it's I'm living who I want to be because I feel my best. At the end of the day, I feel my
Exactly.
best.
And that's all that fucking matters at the end of the day. If you're not hurting anybody, you're not hurting yourself. As long as you're feeling good, um, what
As long
else
as you're
is
not
there?
using other people as stepping stones, like if
Right.
you're literally just pulling people alongside you at the same time, you're not using them to step up on their back and then you forget about them. No, if they help you up, you help them up. At the end of the
Right.
day, like if you're somebody who also believes in that faith, like that you truly are, living by the Bible, you actually do help thy neighbor, no matter what they look like, no matter what they believe, no matter what they may think. I say that a lot because I know there's people who actually who follow me and who listen that also are really big book believers, but at the same time, very hypocritical.
When you say book, you mean like Bible?
Yeah, like they're like
Okay.
deep, 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 deep. They
Ooh,
don't wear the women don't wear anything else but the long, long dresses covering their ankles because if you show your ankles, you're a slut. And if you're a
ankles.
guy, you have to wear a tuxedo all the time. Like
You know
not
people
to
like that?
I know some people like that, and then they try to degrade some things that I say and do, but at the same time, I live who I live. I live who I want to live by, and I live by myself, and I live by the grace of God, and I'm His spinning image. I'm the image of what He wants me to be.
Yeah.
At the
I
end of the
have,
day,
I mean, my beliefs are, I'm definitely not, a, I would, I'm definitely not a Bibleist. I don't follow, I think the Bible has useful stuff in it.
absolutely. But I also do believe that the Bible has been reiterated and rewritten multiple different times
Yeah.
the true Bible right now is nobody can translate it. The truth is the true Bible is in a specific Latin that nobody can read it because it's
Yeah.
been from centuries ago. So
Yeah.
when people say like, "Oh, the Bible," really, you mean
Right.
you mean the whitewashed Bible?
Right.
Come on,
Exactly. Right.
come on now, come on. Like
Right.
we're in an era where there's too much truth and there's too much stuff that's being put out that you can't hide by so many other white lies, literally.
Yeah. No, it's the truth. And it's upsetting that people live their lives by that one book. Um, and they end up kind of like alienating themselves because of it. You miss out on a lot of good people. Like if you're a Bibleist, that's what I call them. If you like live your life by the Bible, then I would assume like you're one of those people that doesn't like people like me. You know what I mean? But like there's you can learn something from somebody who's different than you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like those people that kind of close their minds to anybody who doesn't believe what they believe, they kind of just miss out on life. You're just missing the point of life. I don't believe in the Bible, but I'm not opposed to sitting down with somebody who does to listen to the stories and like find something that's interesting. Um, I don't know. I think that level of closed-mindedness can really harm you more than it helps. I don't know.
Key word right there, closed minded. It is
Yeah.
so easy for people to be closed minded today. But at the same time, it's also just as easy not to be because there's so much information being put out there just by this little freaking thing here.
Yeah.
You can literally look or even go to the libraries if you don't want to use your phone. Like, talk to people, like,
Yeah.
talk to everybody. That tattooed biker over there, the nun that's sitting in the corner, uh, the fucking scumbag sitting there. Eventually you can actually learn something from every single one of them. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
who you talk to. You could take a lesson from everybody. I'm pretty sure we talked about that a little bit earlier in the episode, but just to reiterate that a little bit more, you're gotta have that sit down conversation with every single person you meet. You got to be able to, like,
Connect.
connect, because at the end of the day, everyone's not that different. It's just a matter of some people dealt with their pain in a more unsuccessful and non-proficient way. Other
Yeah.
people have used their pain to their advantage and used it to making their millions and making their overall company, their product, their quality of way of life is a little bit better because they're able to turn whatever adversity like into a profit. But Yeah, it's just, it all comes just from sitting down and just listening. Because if you're also somebody who's running a business, you want to have as many customers or as much clientele as possible. So you never just want to stop in one demographic. You want to actually spread it out, because at the end of the day, it's just more of a profit.
Yeah. Yeah. And to that point of like taking your pain and like making it your power, that is that's the whole point. you know and like you can't understand somebody else's pain until you talk to them, until you I've been hurt by many fucking people that I thought were going to be in my life for years and years to come, like really fucking, like
Yeah, you
did
thought
me
who were ride or
over.
dies.
Right. But do I have hate for those people? No. And the reason is because you have to really look and understand their pain. You know what I mean? And like I've been fucked over, like my dad. You know what I mean? Like just so many people that have done certain things, and you're like, well, yeah, that sucks and that hurts, but
Doesn't mean I want
when
to see
you
you starve. Like I want
right,
to see you eat, but not at my table.
even that. But like you just have to understand a person's pain and maybe where certain things come from. Not everything is rooted in fucking evil. You
No,
know.
in reality, there's a lot less evil out there and a lot more scared minded. There's just
Yes.
more people wanting to find something to be scared about and complain about and be mad about, rather than actually trying to be positive about something that comes in life. Like the brain loves to focus on the negatives. The best thing I ever learned in therapy was that your brain a
Wired.
is wired to love pain, love the trauma, and wants to feel the sadness, and
Yeah.
wants you to. And when you're on the road and somebody cuts you off, and then you cut that person back off, that feeling of just like, yeah, like I finally like that's like, no, no, that's like the no side. You gotta kind of like take out, like, yeah,
The ego.
it's definitely. And if you have a very weak ego, you're going to live a very sad life, because no
Yeah.
one's going to want to be around you. No woman, no man is going to want to date you. No, nobody. If you have a very sensitive, weak ego and your character is just an overall uh, thin piece of glass, and the most sensitive criticism is going to break you instead of try to mold you and turn you into metal. It's something, it's a mentality that it like, if we go back to the victim state, it's just the weak ego ties in with the victim state. You're
Yeah.
wanting someone to save you, but your ego is not allowing you to save you, so you're living in this conflicted mess daily, and you're trying to point the fingers at this person did this person did that. I'm here because of that person, but in reality, the only person you need to be pointing a fucking finger at is yourself,
Is yourself. Yeah.
because you are not allowing yourself to live to your max potential, because you want to sit there and point fingers. Reality, point the fingers back at yourself. Take the lessons that they gave you from other people, learn from their mistakes, learn from your mistakes, and turn it into fucking blessings.
Yeah. And stop being a fucking pussy.
Oh my god,
God
yes.
damn it.
Say the fucking things you want to say. Stop beating around the bush. Stop fucking holding back with your words. If you have a thing for somebody, fucking say it. If you want something to happen at your job place, in a more respectful tone, talk to your boss about it. Uh, there's just certain things that it's literally just communication. Talk about
Yeah.
it. Don't hold back, because at the end of the day, if you hold back everything that you want to hold back, you're going to live with a lot of regrets and a lot of what ifs.
Thank you. You're going to be one of those people in that book on your
It's
deathbed regretting fucking whatever the fuck it was you didn't do. It's more so people regretting things they didn't do than did do. You know what I mean? Because a part of life
absolutely.
is fucking up. We're all going to fuck up, you know?
Like there's
But
really there's only one real regret, and at the end of the day, I don't even think I really regret it so much, was getting involved with that relationship right after my engagement. Was because, yeah, it was stupid enough for me, because this poor girl, I really hurt. I when I tell you that I was a toxic piece of shit, oh my god. And I look at some of the pictures from back then, from just even like the selfies myself, and I look, and it's just like I can't I can't believe I was that kind of, I had that mentality. I can't believe I was that person, that kind of just scumbag in this fucking world. Like, I can't believe I started to feed into that fucking crowd of myself. And thankfully now I'm in my best state mentally and physically, as I can actually criticize and shit on myself for that fucking state, because that guy was a piece of shit. And if I could go back in time, I'd kick my fucking own ass and beat my fucking teeth in. But I could still be that person though. Like, I could still be that drunk, that person who literally ruined a fucking relationship. And I thought, I know, I for a while, there's part of me that does regret it, but at the same time, in that relationship, I did have a lot of great memories. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, there was a lot of great times. There's a lot of good things, but at the same time, when I really overlook everything in that relationship, eventually it was going to become a downfall because of the constant, I want to say, non, how do I put this, clicking. Certain things weren't clicking and connecting, and beliefs became different. It just, there's a lot that with the way I'm in, with the girl I'm with now, I don't feel that way at all.
Like there's
Like,
something missing. You don't feel that.
there's no clicking, like click that's missing. Like, everything just like clicked. But if it wasn't for that trial of me completely fucking up and destroying that relationship, and God, I apologize for it. Like, in the past, we had linked up again, and I apologize for everything. Like, it's like a little bit of like a closure, just because there's a part of me was doing some deep meditation, and I was starting to finally realize a lot of my trauma, and starting to realize a lot of my pain, and started to realize that if I just put down the bottle for a little while, I could probably clear out my mentality a little bit. And eventually did, and apologize for my character and all the things I had become during that time frame. Saw her, it happens to be that she goes to my gym also.
Oh shit.
And yeah, but now there's just nothing there. It's just not even a conversation. It's just we literally locked eyes and just kept moving. And
Really?
at one point in time, that was like the girl like I was so set on like marrying and all that shit. And then to the point that I like locked eyes, literally stared at each other, and then walked away
That's crazy, dude.
and felt no
That's
pain.
and you felt nothing.
And felt
I,
no pain.
I have situations like that. I have an ex that, not that I feel nothing for her. I care. I will always care about her.
Of course.
Um, but like we
There's a difference
broke
between
up.
care and like love and lust. There's a difference. Like, you have a care for that person because you actually were with that person. You saw their deeper sides and you saw their insides, and you're somebody who can relate to a lot of their pains. But at the same time, that love lust is just, it's sprinkled away.
Yeah, and when you're on the other side, like this person in particular, like really hurt me over the course of like 6 years. Um, and so she wasn't the nicest. When somebody treats you in a certain way, it's hard to really come back. At least for me, like once again, a mindset shift. Once I shift my mind about who you were in my life, there's no unshifting that. Once I see the light
But
or
the
awake,
truth,
it is. It's
at the
just
end of the day,
it.
it's the truth. And you don't want to feed yourself back into the lie.
No, exactly. So I think I just saw the light. I'll always love her, always care about her, but I could never I could never go back because of that. You know what I mean? It's like it
Yeah.
just dissipates. That yearning goes away.
And
So
when you could see that, when you see that person from across the room and you don't feel that gut punch, it's just like, that's how you know you're on that path of healing. That's how you know you're doing things right now. And that's how you know that you're going down the right path of not only understanding yourself and healing yourself, but also bettering yourself for the future for that next person that's going to have your heart.
yeah,
You're able to be more cautious, you're able to be more, aware of the signs, the red flags, those things to be really like cautious for. But it's easy to fall into those traps again, with a harlot of a woman. It's very
Yeah.
easy to fall into those traps, but at the same time, if you become what's called dick disciplined, you can actually see women or just people in general for what they truly are, instead of just, I could probably get with them for a night and make them feel something.
Yeah, no, 100%. I've gotten myself into some weird situations as of late with
Hmm.
like with women,
Well, not
and
as of
I've
late, but I've got myself into some weird fucking situations.
for
Weird
me it's been
ones.
as of late, and I'm noticing now, and it sucks because like, it takes a guarded person to actually be able to notice before you fucking dive into something, notice the red flags. You have to have that guard, right? At least one. So now I'm walking into situations with women where I'm guarded as shit. Like, what do you bring it to the table like those misogynists say, but like what what are you doing? Like what's the transaction here? What do we want? What do you want
Right.
from me? What do I want from you? And I'm noticing in doing that, I'm able to cut it quicker than if I just like jump into something and get into something that I don't really want to get into. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's fucking weird. It's just weird.
No, it sound like
Women
local,
are
like yes, some Massachusetts in there, sitting there, fucking weird.
it's weird.
But yeah, overall, so before I got involved with this relationship, I was definitely living that fucking Playboy mentality. I was living that Playboy lifestyle. I was on Tinder, Hinge, all these other lifestyles, and
All right.
yeah, it was a time where I thought I was healing
Mm,
by getting
go
involved with so many different women.
go
In
off.
reality, I was just numbing. I was
Yes.
literally just completely numbing the pain that I was. It was like trying to put a band-aid on cancer. And
Yes. Oh
it
my
was just
god.
it was something that was just literally just festering, and it was something that I was completely just. My goal was to make that girl feel something that night, and then have her leave with her mentality in my brain, and then I'd cut her off. Like that's the kind of shit that I was going through, and I was thinking that I was doing some type of fucking healing, but in reality, like I said, I was doing a whole lot more hurting.
Yep.
Thankfully, that mentality is gone, because now that I have such a clear mind state and I can see people for what they really are. Those gorgeous faces, those perfect bodies, they are the fucking worst mentalities to be around. Some of them, not all of them, not all of them, but some of them. They're fun for a night. They're fun maybe with some drinks. They're fun with a blunt, but at the end of the day, you cannot stand around them for a full day and be sober, because you will fucking blow your brains out with how fucking inconsistent, incoherent, and in
Yes.
how just like non wanting to feel or listen to your problems, also just so self-absorbed. And
Mm,
it's like those are the people that,
no
yes,
depth.
but
There's
yet some
no
people want to look like them. Some people want to act like those people, but some people want to live those
yeah.
mentalities. But yet you could be somebody who is a fucking 6 or 7, trying to compare yourself to a 10. And at the end of the day, you got the 10 spirit and the 10 heart and a 10 mentality and a 10 and caring and forgiveness and all these other things, while the fucking 10 of a body has a negative rating for a heart and soul. And
Yeah.
somebody is just going to use and abuse and create nothing but more trauma for you.
Hell yeah. I'll tell you this. The most beautiful woman I ever dated was it was because I thought she was the most beautiful person because of the connection, not because of what she looked like. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
and that's the thing. I've gotten myself into situations where the physical attraction was there, and you could even have sex with somebody like that. But can you spend time with somebody you cannot have a conversation with? The answer is a motherfucking hell no.
Yeah.
you know and it's excruciating, and the it's not to say that person, at least in my experience, is a bad person. It's just like you said, things when things don't click, that's not sexually. That's not physically when things don't click. That's like spiritually and emotionally and mentally. When you don't have that thing, there's no fucking point. There's no point. So I was
What are you going to talk
numbing
at the
with,
dinner table? What are you going to talk about when you're laying in bed? What are you going to talk about when you're in that car ride? You know, these little things are just being able to hold up conversations and
yeah,
being interested in that person's life and wanting to understand how they got to where they are right now. Like those are the things if you like that matter the most. If
yeah.
that person just has a great body and it's fun for a night, by all means, if you're single, have fun for your night, but don't turn that into a wife.
Right, right. It means nothing at the fucking end of the day. You know what I mean? Like what to have a really listen, if she's fucking hot and I can connect with her, that's great. But if
Dream
she's
scenario.
right, wonderful, ideal. But if she's just hot, okay, yeah, we could have sex and but who wants to just have like you know what I mean? It's just meaningless sex.
Yeah,
Who gives a
bachelors.
fuck?
That's about it though. Like literally the guys who are in the guys and girls who are in their early 20s and all that shit. Like a
Yeah.
lot, especially working in nothing but gyms basically. But that's all I fucking hear about. That's literally all I hear about with these kids in their like early 20s is just sex, 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 sex. Nothing. It's a bad thing, but it's all about just like nothing but sex now. Everybody
Yeah.
talks about sex, and it's like, all right, are you looking for sex just because you're in your prime, and or are you looking for sex because you're trying to heal?
Right. Right. A lot of times when I was looking for sex, it was because I was trying to heal, you know, from the real person that I couldn't get over.
But in
But
reality,
again,
all you're doing is just completely putting a band-aid over cancer. You're
yep,
trying to think that this is going to work, like, oh, I got a bump. Let me. But in reality, it's something more eternal that's eating away at you, and until you get the proper treatment for that, you're going to always be stuck in that same cycle of thinking, can I hit this person back up? Am I going to try to do this again? You know, I'm horny. I need to do this. It's 10 o'clock at night. I've had a few drinks. I've had my blunt deep, and I don't feel like I'm feeling some type of. Those are the things like heal, 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 heal,
yes,
fucking heal. Take a look within. Put down the fucking phone. Take a look within. Put on some fucking meditation music. Light a
yep,
fucking incense. Go on a walk. Go to the gym. Do
my
something
dude.
that's more beneficial for yourself. Read a book. Do something that's going to train your brain to do something that's actually beneficial instead of wasting away in your emotions on trying to think that if you're going to be good enough for this person one day.
Yeah, right. Be good enough for you. And I think the key to healing in any scenario, but like even from a heartbreak or a relationship ending or something like that, is getting to know yourself. Is that it's literally how we started the podcast, like spending that time going within and really getting to know you. I wasn't doing that. I was literally drinking, I was fucking, I was doing anything other than spending time by myself. And then the minute I got home and I was by myself and I was drunk, like I said, like I'd fucking break down, you know? So
Yeah,
it's yeah.
it's a lot. That's a lot of things people can relate to though. Is that it's a mask that you wear the whole night, and then you finally get home, you're alone, you close that door, you take the mask off, and it's just sobbing tears, and
Yeah.
just behind those masks. One of the things that also really did help out was microdosing shrooms. Microdosing shrooms really did become something that was a aid for about 6 months. I did straight of just every day, a little like about a point 0.2, point 0.5. And I would get myself into a state of being able to heal my brain. And the more studies that they're doing on, psilocybin medicine and just overall shroom medicine, it's it's been proven to actually aid in depression healing, like physical, like people don't notice, but when you actually have depression, PTSD, anxiety, there's physical parts of your brain that are actually damaged.
Yeah.
So these shrooms have been proven to actually help out heal those certain parts of your brain and reattach certain neurons, if I'm not mistaken, that's the proper terminology, and reattach certain parts of the brain that are damaged by trauma. Because when you do go through traumatic events, you physically do have some type of pain that goes on in your head. There are
Yeah.
parts of your brain that do snap. Now it's just a matter of rebuilding that part. So doing that 6 months of every single day, it one I was able to put down all the medication I was on.
It's
Uh,
fucking amazing.
I'm on zero antidepressants, zero anti-anxieties, zero medication in general. I dabble in greens, and that's about it. I really don't drink often. If I do, it's about a beer or two, and that's on a fight night that I'm or it's during the Super Bowl. That's about it. Other than that, you'll catch me teaching class on the weekends. You'll catch me training people late night. You'll catch me early in the morning to gym the next day because I'm not hungover. I have no uh, sense in wanting to stay in bed all day. Like
You're
it's
motivated.
yeah, and that all came from really just like transforming that mentality from not only just doing the healing work within, but also taking the shrooms, doing the overall 6 months of just straight up psilocybin microdose, psilocybin, not like an eighth at a time, like all that stuff, and then going into the next realm. Like that was only like once or twice within the last year. But that's if I want to have like a good time. That's my good time now. Is that I'll take a little bit of shrooms. That's about it though. I won't drink and get plastered and fucking start texting people and start calling people and start fucking just being that belligerent. Not like that's why I was texting like for like sex. Like no, I'm just randomly calling you or texting you saying, hey, fuck you, and I'm hanging up.
I would
Like I'm
be
just
honored
it's
if I got a text from you, just random fuck you. That's it. Nothing else.
it's no, it's oh god, it's some of the messages I sent throughout the night, and some of the phone calls I made throughout being plastered. Some very funny times, like going back and looking at it, but at the same time, very cringeworthy.
Yeah.
Very,
Yeah.
very much cringeworthy.
I'm proud of myself that no matter how drunk I got, I never like reached out to people like that, you know?
Oof.
Um,
Yeah,
thankfully.
it's a little that's definitely I want to say an accomplishment in its own. Because not that many people, especially when they're single, that
Right.
phone's going off and you're in that buzz state and something's poking up. They're they may be wanting to, send that text out, that regrettable text the next day because when you wake up and see that person there, it's like, fuck.
I've probably been in the midst of I think I've been in the midst of conversations where um I was wasted and said some dumb shit and then woke up the next day and I was like, what the fuck did I say? But I never went like out of my way to text somebody I wasn't already speaking to, if that makes sense. So
No,
I
yeah,
still like embarrass the fuck out of myself, you know.
yeah, because it's not the person that you're when you're sober you have interest in, but now that you're drunk and now it's just a completely different story.
Right.
So real quick before we start wrapping this thing up over here, it's damn near almost 2 hours already. That just went
I know.
by.
I love talking to you, dude. I gotta say.
Same.
We got
Like I said in the beginning of this, I knew this is going to be a great conversation because we're both like-minded on a lot of different things.
Yeah, we are. Yes, we definitely are. I'm gonna be sending you some shit, and I want you to send me some shit, like
Yeah,
videos and shit. You know.
yeah, I got you. Hey, whoa, hold on a second. No, but the one thing I will say though is that your TikTok. What really got you started with TikTok? The couple of quick interview questions, actual interview questions I have here. What really got you what fucking English Welsh? What made you want to start this TikTok?
COVID. We were in lockdown and I was bored as fuck, and I was like, all right, everybody's on TikTok, cool. Um, and I just started making stupid ass videos. For some reason, they were dumb. They were just so dumb. But for some reason, like people just, I guess, liked my personality. Um, and it grew really quickly. So
Where you at
yeah,
right now? What are you following?
I'm almost at 250,000 on TikTok. Yeah.
Right, so you got a little stable foundation.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. I'm more about like the long game than I am the rapid growth. So, I'm solid with where I'm at. You know, I want to, like I said, I want to build a community as opposed to just crazy virality, because I actually feel like I have something to say and I have value to give. So, yeah, I love it.
No, that's well, honestly, that's what the platform should be used more for because the amount of people that get soaked into their time and just watch meaningless shit instead of something that can actually educate them, not only just on actual educational topics, but emotional topics, physical topics, spiritual topics. Like these are things that the app should be used for instead of these viral fake trends that, go for about 2 or 3 weeks and then something else is already new and that's already old considered. Like how things are considered old in the matter of a month is
Hmm.
it's a little disturbing. But
Yeah.
that's how I also appreciate, the kind of works that you got, the work that you do also, because you
Thank
stay
you.
like, not a problem. You stay to yourself. Like you don't just follow the trends.
No, I don't. If it a lot, and you know what? That's the key to like staying relevant on TikTok is following the trends. But if it doesn't make sense to me, I don't. I really don't give a fuck about views. I really don't. If it's a video that essentially flops, I always try to see the perspective. Like a flop for me is not hitting 10,000 views in like 24 hours. That's not a flop in any sense of the word. If you have thousands of eyes watching you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's all perspective for me. I don't give a fuck about views anymore. I used to. It used to really fuck my day up. Like, oh my God, blah, blah, I have to get on the trends. And I realized you're getting on these trends, what value are you giving people? Like
That's
when
a
I would
key word right there.
value,
Value.
right?
Make something authentic. Like those are the things.
Exactly.
If something is valuable and authentic, it has a lot of meaning behind it, and it's more actual sentimental content and real content, quality content.
Yep.
Not something that you could just literally see a compilation of on fucking YouTube. Like
Yeah.
eventually some of these videos, that's what they end up going down into, is these compilations, just like, oh, another one that people forget about. And it's just
Yeah,
boom,
right.
like
Right.
monthly
It's
compilation, boom.
exactly. And I some trends I'm like, that's funny. I want to do that. Other trends I'm like, it wouldn't be me if I did it, like just not my shit. So that's kind of how whether that's a good marketing strategy or not, it's how I roll. So
If the trend falls into your category, by all means, like that's like partially your trend. So
exactly.
that's when you run with it. But if it's something that's completely out of your lane and you don't see that there's a potential growth in it, it shouldn't be what part of your trend at all.
Yeah.
Like there's only so much that you should be putting out as far as the quality of your content. Like all my videos that I put up on my Instagram, I don't have TikTok, I have Instagram. I know I have to get on TikTok. Too many people are
Hell
telling me
yes.
to get on TikTok, and
Do
I've
it.
just been another one. But the stuff I put up, I don't give a shit about the views. It's for the people, for my clients to watch and see, because it's also like the stuff I put up is not always like the perfect, most clean workout videos. Like I'm showing you that, yeah, my form on certain things isn't 110% perfect. I'm still working through getting like through heavy kettlebell swings. Like I'm still working on, strict motions with my strict flows with my mace. Like those are like some of the things where it's like I'm showing you I'm working on it at the same time. I'm not showing you my perfect side.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of people in this generation also, they show too much of their perfect sides. They don't
Oh
want to
my God.
show, they don't want to show the building stages, they don't want to show the flaws, they don't want to show the mistakes, they don't want to show the trials and tribulation, whatever they tribulation
Yeah.
is that the fucking word?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a word.
Yeah, basically just all the trials for them to get through. And that's what I like to show off also, is that, yeah, I may be doing some of the shit that you don't normally see, but at the same time, I am practicing daily. Like it's not, I'm putting the work in. Like I'm not just sitting
You
there
really
making the
are.
video. Like you put the work in. I tell this, this is something I tell literally everybody. You put the work in, no matter what it is, you'll get the work out of it.
Yeah.
You put the
It's
work
the
in,
truth.
you get the work out. Whether it's through YouTubing, whether it's through Twitch, like Twitch streaming on gamings, whether it be fucking working out, all this other shit, put the work in, you'll get some type of work out of it. Whether it be very minimal at first, but if you stay, what are the three words I fucking always say? Consistent, disciplined, and
Patient.
patient. Patience. Having the patience of watching your channel grow. Like
Yeah.
the people I talked about before, Earn Your Leisure, EYL, the university, like they only have been doing it for a little less than 2 years, 3 years, I want to say now. And they started off by just going into classrooms, by educating kids on this stuff, teenagers, college kids about this stuff. Now they have a actual platform on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all these other platforms educating people on, financial growth and how to the people in the working class can really work out their way to become, financially stable and build financial freedom for not only but themselves but their families as well. And they started off with a very minimal following, and now they got hundreds of thousands of followers. Like, just it matters just a couple of years, if you take the
Right.
time. If you take the time, like, think about all the shit that you went through now within the last 32 years.
Yeah.
A fraction of that you take into putting a serious committed to work. It's not going to take you another 32 years to get to where you're going to be. It's literally only going to take you just as much time as you want it to.
Yeah.
It could take you
The
6 months. It could take
problem
you a year.
the problem is people, they give up too soon. Like it's like that farmer analogy. They give up when they walk out the second day after planting a couple of seeds and they're like, nothing's here. This shit doesn't work. Fuck it. And they give up. They stop watering the plants. But that person that's like, well, you know what? I may not be seeing results right now, but I know that if I keep doing it, something's gonna happen. At least something, And those people are the ones, the ones who stick with it. Those are the ones that I watch. This guy, his name's Ali Abdal, and he gives a lot of like productivity. I'll send you some of his videos.
Yeah, looking
Um,
forward to it.
he's like, you definitely like him. And he said for the first 2 years that he was posting videos, he made not 1 cent of money because he was just doing it to build the traction. And then something, all of a sudden he hit that place where he took off, and now he's a fucking millionaire. Now he's a fucking millionaire. He's a businessman. Like, so
It
it's
just
that
shows you take that
consistency.
time. Just take
Yeah.
that time to actually stay on track. Like, my sponsorship with Jacko, I have maybe made $20-$30 off of it within the last 2 years with referral codes and all that stuff. Shit, that's $20-$30 I didn't have before.
Yep.
The fact that I have a sponsorship with a company like that's an American-made company, like, I don't give a shit about it. It's giving me a minimal amount of money. I don't care that people are barely using my code, because people can barely afford to use to buy extra products for themselves for the gym. That, first off, also it's a very affordable product as well, compared to other proteins and everything else. Is a quick plug. Jacko Milk, it literally has 4 supplements in one. So comparison to spending $135 to $175 on each product separately, you're paying $44 for all 3 in one.
That's
So
fucking
it's,
awesome.
yeah, probiotics, essential amino acids, digestive enzymes, and protein all in one. So when I tell people that it's saving you money, but it's also tastes fucking amazing. The best tasting protein I've ever had before. And there's no sugar.
Really?
It's sweetened with monk fruit. It's no sugar,
Monk
no
fruit.
sucralose. It's sweetened with monk fruit. Yeah. It's hands down the best protein. It's the reason why I got involved with the company. It's the reason why that I share a lot of their stuff. It's a great company. But yeah, going off of that, it's literally just a matter of the 3 key words: discipline, consistency, patience with
Yeah.
whatever you do. The other question I had here before, where do you see yourself in a matter of a year? Not 5
In-
years, not 10 years, in a year. Where do you see yourself a year from now? Because down the road, I do plan to check back in a couple times throughout the year, but literally it's going to be like a year anniversary type thing where I do with
I'm
some
down.
guests.
I love it. Um, I see myself still sober. Probably, most likely. Um, I want to. One of my goals for this year is to launch a self-love course. That's gonna take me a couple of months. I have like the skeleton of it kind of built, but it's gonna take a couple of months to really do it. So I'm hoping by the end of this year, I will have launched it, and by the grace of God and me showing up every day, it's successful enough. So hopefully in a year from now, um, I'll have something to show for that. Like, talk about the course or something. But yeah, that's where I see myself in a year. Oh, and also I have a bachelor's degree in a year. So
Oh, congratulations with that.
thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that because with all these other courses that are out right now, all these other classes that people can take, I don't think there's many other classes out there that really focus on developing self-love and how to actually access that part of your brain to trick it into not loving to hate, but loving to self-love and appreciating the process of getting through the obstacles and really pushing through with patience and persistency. Yeah, whatever.
We're making up
Fuck,
words today. It's all right.
fuck English. There's too many. There's too many other fucking words. Like, why is there spelled 3 fucking times?
Somebody got bored.
And red is read. Like
Right.
right too. Right is another one. Like that.
Right.
That's
It's yeah. And like, when do you use the
fuck English.
RITE?
Fuck English. Besides right aid. Right aid is the only way I think I've ever spelled right with that one. But
Yeah. When is that one ever used?
I really don't think it. Besides right aid, I don't ever recall ever having to read that shit. Besides the place that's now Family Dollar, but listen, it's been an honor to talk to you. Honestly, like I definitely do want to have a couple more of these conversations throughout the year because it flew right by. I didn't think like
I
this
know.
is like it literally like 2 hours gone in a matter of just a couple minutes. But overall, I'll let you do a quick plug on anything that you got going for you, any your channels, all that stuff, videos up and coming. You know, what's still going on. So what do you got going on for yourself?
My podcast, really. Check out the Tori Franco Show on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast. And yeah, go listen to me while you're taking a shower or a shit or whatever the fuck it is you do.
Most of the time, most of the time for me, it's a shower or driving. Taking I try to stop bringing my phone in while taking a shit because it's just too distracting, and you find yourself in the bathroom a little bit too. Damn, puberty hitting again. I just feel that the bathroom, unless taking a shower, you should try to spend minimal time as possible. But yeah,
I agree.
That phone, it's too easy. It's too easy.
Know.
It's too
Dude,
easy.
My legs be going when I tell you
Numb.
not to get. Yes. And like I take quick poops. Like, let's be real here. My poops are like normally in and out. Most of my time spent in the bathroom is just me scrolling on my phone.
Mm-hmm. And you wake up with that dead leg, and it's like pins and needles going up and down, and you can't take a step forward until it's fully like the blood gets back into your legs. And otherwise, every time you take a step, it feels like someone's tickling your feet.
Yep.
That's why I try to not bring my phone in. I don't say I don't do it all the time, but I try not to bring my phone into the bathroom because I'm gonna fall into that fucking trap every time.
Good idea.
But overall, though, it really was an honor to talk to you. It was an honor conversation. I'm looking forward to the next one, and I'm looking forward to seeing the growth in your channel.
Thanks, dude. The pleasure is mine. I love you. You're fucking awesome.
I love you too. I'll catch you guys on the next one too.